I think I found my favorite essay. I say that about a lot of things, so if that makes me a hypocrite, then I am one. I'm going to proudly say I'm a hypocrite. The one that I'm talking about is The Frontiers of Art and Propaganda by George Orwell. It is perfectly written and it is so relevant. I think I said this before in another video that history is always going to be relevant because history repeats itself. But this one specifically, he's talking about art and propaganda in the 1940s. And I think I need to read you a quote because I feel like this is so relevant now in this political atmosphere that we're in. The writers who have come up since 1930 have been living in a world in which not only one's life, but one's whole scheme of values is constantly menaced. In such circumstances, detachment isn't possible. You cannot take a purely aesthetic interest in a disease you are dying from. You cannot feel dispassionately about a man who is about to cut your throat. In a world in which fascism and socialism were fighting one another, any thinking person had to take sides, and his feelings had to find their way not only into his writing, but into his judgment on literature. Literature had to become political, because anything else would have entailed mental dishonesty. One's attachment and hatred were too near the surface of consciousness to be ignored. What books were about seemed so urgently important that the way they were written seemed almost insignificant. Let me repeat this part for those who say they are apolitical, those who don't want to interest themselves in politics. You guys are not political, right? Let me repeat this part for you. This one is for you. You cannot take a purely aesthetic interest in a disease you are dying from. You cannot feel dispassionately about a man who is about to cut your throat. Yeah.